So Alex, how's it going today?
It's good, how are you?
I'm good. Can you explain to me a little bit about where we are right now?
So we're in Port Credit. This is where in the film we shot him running in sunrise. We came out early in the morning on our very first day. We had David, our G&E guy. He was on rollerblades up on the little like path up there while DERM was running down here. And we got some nice shots that really complemented the film.
Nice.
It was fun to do.
Can you tell me a little bit about what your film, DERM the Long Run, is actually about?
Yeah, so DERM the Long Run is about DERM Hallwell, who is now 72 years old, but at the time he was 71 last year when we filmed it. And he had just done his 35th consecutive Boston Marathon, which is a lot of consecutive Boston Marathons. Not many people, there's not a lot of people who have done that many, and he's one of the highest count in Canada. So it's a really impressive feat. He's a very consistent runner, obviously. So I met DERM through my girlfriend, and it's actually my girlfriend's grandfather. And we all have a running group called the Nomads, which is featured in the documentary. So I met him through her and the running group, and that's how I got to know him and got to learn his amazing story, which was like hugely inspiring. And I always knew like right away that like that was documentary material, and I've got to do it one day. Mm-hmm. Luckily, this school project kind of fell into place where I was like, this is the chance to make it happen. But I always knew like there's got to be a documentary about him. Mm-hmm. So this was the chance, and we had a short time limit to tell his story, but I think we got a good chunk. We got the highlights in.
So it was kind of a no-brainer when it came time to make this documentary. You were like, this is the guy I'm doing it on, 100%?
Yeah, he's just a great character to film and work with. And he's really good at storytelling. He's great at selling his stories. Like, they really captivate you, mm-hmm. and they're touching stories. So it was for sure a no-brainer.
Yeah, it's a very emotional documentary on top of how inspiring it is. And I was just wondering how you went about choosing what moments from his 35-year-long running career to cram into this 6.5-minute documentary. Like, what was the process of narrowing that down?
Yeah, that was really hard. There's just so much when you're looking at somebody who's been running for 50 years. And the interview portion, I think, is an hour and a half long. It was an hour and a half of him talking, and we had to make it 6 minutes. So going through that was like really tough. And there was a lot we couldn't keep in, especially about his origin. So we really had to just narrow it down. Like, this is about his Boston Marathon journey. Mm-hmm. So we start off with his first Boston. And then from there was looking at like what are kind of the pivotal years. So like the pivotal years being like 2007 when he battled cancer, and then 2013, 2014 where it was the Boston bombing, mm-hmm. and the aftermath of that, and then looking towards now where he's persevered and made it all the way to now 36 Boston marathons.
And he's showing no signs of slowing down. I mean, the way the documentary ended, it sounds like he's going to keep running for as long as he physically can, right?
Yeah, he's in it. I still run with him 4 times a week. We meet up with the group, and I get to run with him, and I personally attest, he is not slowing down. He's still running as strong as 4 years ago when I met him. Yeah, he will keep going. And even if you naturally get slower. Obviously, mm-hmm. a 72-year-old isn't going to be running as fast as their fastest marathons, but it's obvious that even as he gets slower, he's still going to be out there, and he's still going to be doing it, because it's just when you love something the way he does, yeah. It doesn't even matter how slow the paces get. If he can be out there, he's still going to be out there.
That's amazing. What would you say the biggest lesson that you've learned from DERM is?
The biggest lesson I've learned from DERM, it's tough, but I think one thing I really take away, and it's really relevant to the marathon, is patience. The marathon's obviously long. You can't go out and race the first 10K because you're not going to be there when it's 35K. So something I learned early on when I was training for my first marathon was you've got to be patient, and you have to have the discipline. So it's this discipline and patience, this balance, and he's been really good at that, and that's why he's been able to run so long. Mm-hmm. And it's just it applies to marathon and it applies to life, where things take time. And if you're putting in the work and you're showing up every day, you're not going to see results every single day. And but it all adds up. It all adds up.
I feel like that also applies to filmmaking too. Like
For
you have
sure.
this
Yeah,
idea,
yeah.
you're excited about it, you want to go
Yeah.
work on it right away, but it's a marathon. You can't just
Yeah.
like sprint into it, and you got to take your time.
Yeah.
So what were some of like the challenges of bringing this to life?
Yeah, the challenges, definitely like I mentioned, the time frame. Like, how do we tell such a big story in such a short time frame? Like, I want to tell it all, right? I want to show everyone everything, but there's only so much time. So picking and crafting that story was a challenge, but there weren't too many challenges. Like,
good.
there weren't too many challenges because, again, he's so good at storytelling that his pieces were there, and then just fitting in all like the B-roll and like figuring out how we're gonna show different things. The challenge B-roll was sometimes a challenge because we don't know exactly the story he's gonna tell on the day, and then we're kind of having to like after the interview, be doing those pickups and stuff where he's talked about something we didn't expect. There was a person he brought up in the interview that ended up being pretty crucial to the story. We did not have footage with this person. What do we put there? So we had to go out and do the pickup shots and stuff. So it was just filling in the gaps and how do we like visually complement the story that he's telling.
Yeah, so speaking of B-roll and sort of everything to complement the story, how did you go about crafting the visual style of this film?
So the visual style, worked with Kai, my wonderful DP, and something that we really were excited to show were the bibs. He's kept everything. So obviously keeps all the medals, right? They're all in the racks you see in the interview. But he's also got a binder with newspapers from every year. He's got the bibs from every year. And I knew like I always wanted to like figure out how to do like the collage of it, right? And this was way more time consuming than we thought. We were like, yeah, we'll just quickly film it. It took like hours to like set out all 35 years. And it really put it in perspective when you're having to put down like all the newspapers of everything or pictures or different like memorabilia from each year. We always knew the collage was going to be a big part.
So I want to ask, what was the most fun part of creating this documentary? Or any fun set stories?
It was all fun. Filming all the running, the rollerblade stuff we did here was really fun to kind of start it off on that note and get those really pretty shots.
That was the first thing you shot?
Yeah, very first thing.
Wow.
Day one, like straight out in the morning, we came out here and did that. But just like that studio stuff with the collage, like that was really fun. Like even though we were in a time crunch because like we were just getting so late in the day because we were having too much fun and not enough work. But setting up all those collages and stuff, that was a lot of fun.
Nice.
And getting to do the interview and like everyone getting to sit there and like getting to listen to an hour and a half of DERM's life is just like it really impactful.
And last question, if you want viewers to take one thing away from DERM's story and this documentary, what would you want it to be?
I think there's a lot to get from DERM's story, that it doesn't have to be running. Not everyone's going to be a marathon runner. Not everyone wants to do 35 Bostons. But whatever it is that is your passion, like really just put like the magic of putting your all into a passion and staying with it, and that like beauty of just like loving something and just committing to it. Like a big part of it was that like he never intended to have a streak. That wasn't like you never set out and be like, I'm gonna run for this long. I'm gonna be running till I'm 70. I'm gonna have 35 Bostons. But just like when you find the community, when you find your people that you get to do it and share it with, these things it just ends up being an amazing journey. So follow your passions.
Awesome. Love it. Thank you, Alex.
Thank you.
This is amazing.